What's up, Camden County? Allison Shores, Camden County Chamber of Commerce, and you are catching the 15th episode of the Getting in Your Business podcast. This podcast has been sponsored by our Chairman Circle sponsors, which are Comcast Business, Georgia Power Company, Hargray, Plug Power, Radiant, St. Mary's DDA, and TDS Telecom, and Ameris Bank. So let's get down to business, guys. Today in the studio, I have Curtis Johnson and I have Clarence from the Camden County Fire and Rescue. Now, Curtis, you own Coastal Georgia CPR. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right. So today we're going to talk all things life-saving and AEDs and CPR and all those things. Since it's getting close to, I guess it's summertime now, people swimming. I know in our news lately, we've heard a lot about people having heart issues, just all kinds of stuff. So I'm really excited to kind of touch on some of these topics. So let's, out of the gate, let's talk about AEDs. Now, Curtis, you have tried to educate me a lot about AEDs and CPR and all the things, but AEDs. So what does AED stand for?
Well, it stands for Automatic External Defibrillator.
That's a lot of words.
Yes, it is. That's why we abbreviate it.
Yeah, AED. So what do AEDs do?
We're the device that shocks the heart. Anytime someone's heart starts beating incorrectly, out of normal sequence, in a sense, the AED provides an electrical shock that helps bring that heart back into normal cycle so that it pumps blood correctly through the body.
Okay. Now, where are these AEDs located? Who has them?
Well, actually, we have quite a few in a lot of different locations throughout Camden County. A lot of churches have them. Some businesses have them. Of course, all of our medical facilities all have them. Of course, your doctor's offices and places like that. Needless to say, of course, obviously, our fire departments are well equipped.
I was going to say, Clarence, so I'm assuming that the fire and rescue, I guess on the ambulances and stuff, they all have these things.
Correct. All our apparatus, Camden has an AED, and our ambulances have the cardiac monitor. Gotcha.
Okay. So now, but I think a lot of people maybe think they don't even maybe need one of these in their business or something. Would that be the case? Like, what is the benefit of having one of these?
Well, anytime someone goes into what's called cardiac arrest, which is when the heart doesn't beat correctly and it needs to be shocked, you literally have a limited amount of time to be able to shock that heart to get it back into sinus rhythm to ensure the person survives from the event. And that is not a lot of time. We're talking probably 6 minutes at the most. And even if we don't, things like that, even just starting CPR course starts helping with that. But again, if we can shock the heart back into normal sinus rhythm, then there's a greater chance of that person surviving from the event. Because
literally, if you're calling the ambulance, it may take longer than 6 minutes, depending on where you are, depending on all kinds of things. Like, I'm sure y'all have great records in record time getting to places. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, 6 minutes is not a lot of time. So maybe having one of these apparatuses, look at me using big words, apparatuses in your business or in your home, it could help at this point save somebody's life.
Yeah, that's very true. Most people don't realize that cardiac arrest, which is caused by more than just heart conditions. It's caused by drowning. It's caused by choking. It's caused by sudden impact.
See, I'm glad you got into that because I was going to say, how am I going to know if somebody's in cardiac arrest?
Basically, they're not going to be responsive.
At all?
No. You tap and shout on them, and they don't respond in any way. They don't move. They don't blink. They don't make any motion. And you find out they're not breathing. There's a good chance they're in cardiac arrest.
Okay. So is that true for you guys?
Yeah. So usually the call comes out for us. We respond, and usually to help buy time for that defibrillator, if it's not accessible, is the CPR portion of that. Right. That helps to keep the blood flowing, get the blood to the brain, buys us time to get on scene, or a defibrillator AED.
So really, knowing CPR, having an AED is really the way to go in helping until help gets there. Correct? Is that correct in saying that?
Okay. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So now, Curtis, I have learned way more about CPR than I've ever wanted to know, which I think is great. But you are such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this, and you're super passionate about people knowing how to save somebody's life. So talk a little bit about CPR and how you got into CPR training.
Well, I've finished up 2 careers. My first one was when I first joined in the Navy in 1980. Mm-hmm. And in my time in the Navy on the submarine force, I actually became a volunteer firefighter and EMT. And I maintained that through my rest of my Navy career until I retired. So right off the get-go, way back in the 80s, mm-hmm. I had a passion for wanting to help people, wanting to serve our community, doing what I can to help save people's lives. After I retired from the Navy, I eventually went to work at the Trident Refit facility here on our base, mm-hmm. and ended up in the safety office and took over the responsibility of the CPR training. So I've actually trained for over 10 years for the federal government on the military base, training people how to do CPR because of their job requirements.
And then you decided?
And then I decided that we needed a more consistent, readily available source of training in our community. Not that there aren't other people
in
out
surrounding
there.
areas.
Surrounding areas, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I just went ahead and decided to establish this business. Back in 2019, while I was still working for the base, I did this part-time. Retired last June, and now I am actually full-time. I have clients that drive 2 hours to take my course because there's just nothing like what I do available within probably 50 miles of here.
Well, you're really good at getting people in. As soon as, their certification lapses or is about to lapse, you're really good about getting them in and really getting that taken care of.
And that's the benefit of being full-time.
Yeah.
We have a lot of instructors in our area, but a lot of them, again, either do it for the company they work for or they do it kind of off and on whenever they have time to teach a class. And, having somebody who does this is what they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So now, Clarence, how did you get how long have you been with the fire department? How did you get?
Started in the Navy in 98.
Oh, wow.
Became a volunteer under Chief Peoples and transitioned to the fire EMS world in 2001.
So you've been doing this for a while.
For a little bit.
Just a
not
little bit.
Not compared to some of my OG friends.
Yeah, awesome. I love having both of you guys in here because you have, 2 unique perspectives on things, but you both can agree that, any way we can save a life, let's do that, especially with CPR and AEDs and being prepared. Now, if people are interested in getting AEDs, maybe for their business or for their church or maybe some of our different, civic clubs here, if they're interested in purchasing an AED, is that something that they can go to you for?
Yes. Yeah, I am a distributor for all 6 major brands. And so I have access to be able to deliver those. Just a case in point, we had a local medical clinic open up, and the day before they opened, I stopped by. I said, okay, you're ready to open. I know all your people are training CPR. I said, just let you know I'm here to support you. And I said, so where's your AD? And they said, well, that's going to be 6 weeks before we get it. So we had a conversation. I had an AD to them in 3 days, and I loaned them. I have 3, so I loaned them one of mine so they could open with one in-house.
Yeah.
And the benefit of that, of course, customer service is very important. I actually am their instructor for all of their people now for 6 locations. So,
Gotcha.
It's customer service is important. But yes, I have access to get them quickly and get them in sight where they need to be.
Awesome. Is there, if anybody is interested in some of these classes, because I know you've got several different classes, whether it's babysitting courses or new parents, you just kind of cover the gamut. So how can people get a hold of you for that?
Well, they can actually sign up for my classes on my website, which is coastalgacpr.com. Click on the training tab, and it lists all the courses that we offer. They can sign up on there, or they can just call me or at our business number, which is 912-217-4913, or they can email us at classes@coastalgacpr.com.
Good deal. Now, I do want to touch on one thing, if you don't mind. I know that we have July 4th coming up. Is there any fire safety that you want to give out to people?
Be careful of the fireworks.
Yes.
Yes, that's a major concern for us, especially little ones. You don't want them getting around the rockets or the exploding fireworks. So you got to be super careful.
Yeah, watch your fingers, all the things. So, yeah, good deal. Well, thank you guys for both being here and kind of really touching on AEDs and CPR and life-saving things that we can do here in our community. I didn't even know that we had classes and stuff until you came along. And, and Terry Smith, y'all do a great job over at Camden Fire
my
Rescue.
chief is awesome.
Yes, I love Chief Smith. Oh, he's one of my favorites. So anyway, thank you guys for both being on here. Is there anything either one of you want to say before we get out of here?
Thank you for having us. Thank you for the citizens and the residents of Camden and the people traveling through our county.
Yes, awesome.
Yep. And again, thank you for allowing us to come. Again, we just want to encourage people, understandably, we're not about doing this for our benefit. We're doing this to make our community better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. You have caught the 15th episode of the Getting in Your Business podcast.